Good evening. Welcome everyone to the Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting. It's May 19th, 2022. It is 7:02 p.m. I am Michael O'Reilly, the chairman of the commission. Will you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. At this point, I'm going to call the roll, starting on my right.
Dominic Smyrlino, alternate.
Leanne Ambrosi, Commissioner.
Bruno Maini, Vice Chairman.
Robert Westland, Commissioner.
Nicole Lupo, Commissioner, alternate.
Say my name right there.
Schultz, Town Planner.
Joe Chapman, Planning Administrator.
Start drinking water.
Sarah.
Sarah Stroud, Recording Secretary.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, next we're going to go to general public participation. During this period, the public is invited to participate and ask questions of the commission. Any comments or anything you'd like to bring to the commission's attention. This does not include any hearings that we will be hearing tonight or anything that is before the commission or likely to become before the commission. This time is only for other issues that anyone would like to discuss. Does anyone here? Or is there anyone online? Please just raise your hands online. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move along to our public hearing. First public hearing, SCP 2022-01, 24 Commerce Drive. This is a continuation from 4/21/22. Rick, do we have any new?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have a new exhibit, the revised plans reflecting P and Z comments.
Okay, thank you. And for the applicant tonight, we have.
Jason Edwards, with Associates Engineers Surveyors, 227 Stepney Road, Easton, Connecticut.
And I'm going to share that.
I need to open them up.
That's okay. Whenever you're ready.
This was before you guys, probably a month ago, I guess, and we hadn't been through ARP yet, and we had some outstanding comments from engineering. And since, been through ARP, they've recommended, we've also addressed all of the town engineer comments, so we cleared that. There was a few questions that you guys had that I wanted to take a minute to answer. One was the bathroom locations.
These two, no, you're here.
Let me get fresh.
Okay, so what we've done is show we've outlined the bathroom locations where they intend to be inside each building. They're going to be an 8x8 single bathroom. Each building is designed to have 4 different units, so there'd be 1 per unit. This building 1 is intended to house the client's business, the owner's business, which is Total Pools that's what we're going to show one down here. They may end up constructing both. As of now, they're thinking one. Another issue that had come up was some screening on the south side of the property. So we revised the landscape plan to add a significant amount of screening on that side. Basically, that entire planted buffer was added. With a combination of evergreens and other native plants. But the intent is to make sure that's fully screened. Also, we're asked to relocate the dumpster to the other side of the property. We originally had them here in this area, and we've moved them up to the far side over here. Later as well. And then the final question you guys had brought up was the HVAC locations, and we've shown those now. There's going to be a pad here, as well as a pad. That was really the extent of the outstanding questions from the commission. So if there's
thank you.
questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Just for the record, we're going to seat Nicole Lupo as commissioner tonight. So let's go to the commissioners for any questions. I'll start with Dominic.
No questions?
Yeah, the ARB to do.
They had some questions on color building, which
You should have a render of the buildings or anything like that?
they actually had brought in physical pieces of siding and stone. So
No, but you have anything to show us?
I don't think I've got the same renderings that we had. It should be in the plan sets, actually.
Oh, yeah, they're right here.
That was the renderings that we had. So it's a steel building up above with a stone, I guess you'd say, skirt around the bottom. It's a brick, not really stone, but it's, stone
The
look.
front side of it, where the doors are, or no?
That's where the entrance doors are, yeah.
We have stone facing on the bottom?
Yeah. I believe that surrounds the entire building, yeah.
I'm not, you believe or you know?
I don't know what's the plan here.
Yeah, the plan is to have a concrete block, 4 feet around the whole building, on the bottom.
Just concrete block?
It's a decorative concrete block.
Yeah.
It looks like stone.
Okay. And you have no plantings in front of the building at all?
Directly in front.
On site, yeah, where you go in the door, nothing there?
I'm sorry, which side?
Where you're going in, where the garage doors are, you have no screening there at all?
No, I mean, that's all paved, so
You're making an office there?
there's going to be contractor space is what it is, so you have a.
No offices? No office?
The contractor could have a desk or something in there, but it's not intended to be an office space, no.
Okay, that's all I have.
No question.
Screening, you're proposing here, the evergreens, I'd like to know what type they are and what is going to be the size of them when they're installed.
That's a Norway spruce. They're going to be 7 to 8 feet tall. It's the
78 feet tall.
7 to 8 feet tall. Not 78.
That'd be impressive.
Yes.
We could send that to Times Square for,
We're going to have 7 of those. Those are this shape here. So there's going to be 7 of those, which are the largest tree in there, I think.
7 or 8 feet when planted or full grown?
when they're planting.
Winter.
Oh, on the planted.
They do get 78 feet tall.
They do get big.
Good, yeah. You got some green giant, part of the circles here, the arbor, or I forget the name. But that's the thin, tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arborvitae?
Oh, voice.
Voice from God.
And these are shads, so the other ones scattered in here.
Okay. I think the last time when you were up here, I had asked about the lighting. You know, the neighbor was concerned about lights and the hours the lights were going to be on.
We've got a lighting plan. I think the owner might be able to answer more about the hours the lights will be on.
Yeah,
Come on up.
this is our, of
Come on up.
Identify yourself.
Join the party.
I'm sorry, I was late.
No worries.
I'm here.
Say your name.
My name's Anthony Santel, Total Pool and Patio. Yeah, the hours of operation are normal business hours, so there's not gonna be any actual function after, 5 o'clock, really 7 o'clock at the latest.
My concern was the light being left on for security purposes and
Yeah.
causing.
I wouldn't think that we'd light the entire parking lot overnight. Probably just, some spotlights on the actual building above the door.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we're renting currently is set up. There's normal lights that we can turn on, but it's really just a couple spotlights shining down above the garage doors. So it's,
I mean, the buildings.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we just want you to be, respectful of the fact that the neighbor's over there and it's somewhere facing their house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And also just piggybacking on what Commissioner Ambrosi was asking, as far as the concrete block, is it like a veneer that's going on the block?
It's not a veneer. I'm not sure we brought the.
I want to know if we're looking at concrete blocks or if we're looking at some type of decorative.
It's
I think I could answer this for you and tell me if I'm wrong. They make a concrete block and on the
With a face
outside
on
of that
It's
block.
textured.
It's
Right,
textured.
yeah.
Well, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not the concrete blocks that
Gotcha.
you use like on the
Cement,
inside of
cinder
the.
block.
Is it colored?
It's cinder
It's
block.
colored concrete block?
Decorative.
Yeah.
Decorative.
They make them colored? I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No questions. I just want to thank you for moving the dumpster. That was one of my concerns. So the neighbors on Garter Road aren't hearing that. Questions? Thank you.
If I could just make a comment. And the idea is as far as the lighting, standing at the neighbor's house, can't look into the light. That's the idea. It's got to be shielded or angled down. Light doesn't leave the property. As long as that's what happens.
Yeah, there's screening plants are gonna help with that, and also there's a difference in grade there, so the building is the back of the building will be what they see.
That grade again? It was like,
Yeah.
So, and
And you're down below? Lower or
they're
higher?
we're
above.
above.
So the light is going to be more critical then because you're already up.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true, but they're looking up, so the angle will be cut off, so they won't be able to see.
No, just be aware of it.
Shine directly.
You guys do it again.
Yeah, we'll be conscious of that for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, then we're going to go to the public. Are there any members of the public here tonight or online that have any comments on the application before us? If there,
I'll take a step.
come on up
Now I know to come up here for myself.
and just give us your name and address.
So, thank you for the screening. It's pretty
Your
substantial.
name and address,
Oh, Michael
please.
Antolini, 31 Garter Road. I'm the property owner to the south.
Thank you.
So the screening is a little bit of a concern, but you've addressed that. But I'm questioning what is the purpose of the screening where it sits there? Because looks like the finished floor of the building's at 406 and the low part of the property to the south around 396, 397, 398. So we've got a 10-foot difference there. You're putting a lot of the screening on the slope, some in the middle, some down low, some high. The building's 22 feet tall.
You're gonna, asked this way, you don't ask him.
Well, okay, because he would know the answer. I'm not sure he would know.
He'll get to it.
Okay, so the building's 22 feet tall. You're screening the slope. The top of the trees are barely reaching the facade of the building, and then you got the low pitch roof on top of the 22 feet. So are we doing the screening to screen it from my property? Or, I know it's a requirement, and it's nice that it is a requirement because it's all gonna be disturbed. It's woods right now. It looks like that property was built up at some point. It's at 410 currently. Looks like the finished floor is at 406. So it will come down somewhat. Right now, it's a huge slope. I mean, I stand at the stone wall that's shown there and I have to look up. And there's a lot of boulders on that slope as well. It's not just a smooth grass slope like it shows in the rendering. So my question, back to my original question, what is the purpose of all that screening if it's not going to really screen the building?
Do you have any other questions or comments? Do you have any other questions or comments? Surely we'll have you.
Yes.
Give us all of your.
There's a few, yeah, let's get them all done with. So the parking, can the parking be rented out? Such as some of these other buildings on Pepper Street and the roads that are off Pepper where, say, Bob's Furniture can park their tractor trailers back there and, I don't know, just asking that, what are the regulations on that? Or do you know that that's going on? Doesn't make a difference to the other properties. I'm more concerned if that can be rented out. Because I know the other building's gonna be rented out. I wanna make sure just, it's neighboring property that tractor trailers aren't going in and out all the time and just being stored there.
Yeah, that would require a commission review.
Okay.
The occupancy.
Right.
So the applicant is presenting what you're hearing tonight.
Okay.
If there's any deviation from what was submitted, it comes before the commission, and you'll have the opportunity to address the commission.
I wonder, are you perhaps asking, can the parking spaces be rented out to someone who is not occupying the
Yes.
building?
Yes, with the exception, the other building is going to be rented out.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you have any control over what they can park over there, but again, I'm just concerned that I see these days parking is premium and there's a lot of tractor trailers that get some of these fallen warehouses or facilities that aren't Bob's Furniture or somewhere else. I'm using that because I know that's happening.
Right, so you're asking, can a third party be renting out space or other than the occupants of the building, whether they're leased or not?
Correct.
Are there any other concerns?
I do not think that there are any more concerns though.
Okay, well, thank you for your comments. We'll go back to the applicant.
I'm Jason Edwards, J. Edwards Associates, for the record. Regarding the screening, we're trying to make the best effort we can to screen. There's always going to be something totally visible. There's no way for us to totally block the view. But the trees at the bottom of the slope should, as they grow, just the angle of view going up should intersect with the roof line. That's the intent. I don't know that there's much more we can do than what we.
Well, how much of the building will you see?
I couldn't tell you that.
Take that out. Well, you could calculate that out, right?
House. I don't know where the floor of his house is. I don't have that.
Well, his property sits at, I believe. I'm just concerned about.
Right. Yeah, I'm just, could we haven't seen this.
He's at, looks like he's at 399. Right.
Well, if he's got, the floor of the building is 406, so that sits up about 10 to 12 feet above the existing grade on that side of the property line, but I don't know what the elevation of his house is, where his house is in relation to the building.
So basically, you're putting in a 7-foot tree,
7 to 8 foot trees.
okay, 7 or 8 foot tree, and you've got an elevation of 10 feet. So he's going to see the entire building.
Well, some of those are going up the slope, so, they're coming up higher than that, but.
What's the rate that these trees grow at?
I honestly couldn't answer that. I don't know. But depends.
A foot to 2 a year.
What is it?
So some,
Line,
In Connecticut, it's about a full year.
here.
Florida's 3 feet.
Oh, son.
Okay,
We wanted to add some plants up this hill higher if, you know.
We just want to screen it from the neighbor, because it's real close to
We're
the.
trying to do our best, I understand.
It's right next to the neighbor. If we can add something a little bit there to screen a little bit more for the neighbor, let's.
Yeah, we can add another half dozen plants or so, or trees over.
Michael.
Okay.
Up the elevation, whatever they're gonna seed.
Yeah, I think we could work that out with staff.
Because the neighbor's pretty close to that property.
Michael, do you have any pictures on your phone of what it looks like from your property up to where this is going to be?
Come on up.
Yeah. You have, I'm kind of looking for that visual, just so I know what, what you're seeing from your yard.
My house is not near the property line.
Okay.
There's the vantage points. If I sit at my house, my back terrace or a window, and I look out, I actually see the warehouse beyond it. So the elevation change is quite a bit from here, from where I am. What I was going to suggest, again, you've done adequate screening of that hill. I don't think you're ever going to get say it's 6 feet difference between the foundation and the top of the tree, up to 22 feet of the side of the building. I mean, realistically, you're going to have to wait 25 years for that to start screening it. If maybe several, like 2 or 3 of the evergreens that are specified to be put onto my property to block that, because my concern is mostly the winter and the cold months when the leaves have fallen off the trees. I just see it. I'm going to see the one beyond it. It is what it is. But my point was that you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on some screening, which I think needs to be done. It's a requirement that you do, and it'll add something. But to actually screen the building from my house where I'm looking, a couple of evergreens would take care of that. Okay. I'm looking for any evergreens for free. I'm just saying that seems to be of little use for screening. It's a hillside.
Yeah.
It's a hillside, and you're barely going to reach that block foundation that's going to be exposed.
Would your client put a couple trees on his property?
Next to,
Yeah, I think.
or on your property line right next to his property, I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to handle that, right?
Yeah.
Right, Rick, you can handle that?
My man.
All right.
So
I guess you could work that out with staff?
Yeah, we're working out with staff.
staff.
By staff, that means these guys.
That means Rick.
Okay.
Yeah. So Rick Schultz is the person you'll get in touch with. But I just want to, because if you're saying they don't need to spend, like you said, tens of thousands of dollars to screen a hill that isn't going to do anything, I'd rather them, if they're willing to, just put some on your property so you can have a.
And I'm not saying tens of thousands to transfer from there to.
No, I meant.
No, just put a couple trees on your
Yeah,
property.
yeah.
That is the wooded part of the property. I only walk back there, I set up the trail cam and I go back there, and now I'm gonna have a building to look at, but I'm not gonna look at it like this, look at it like that. I mean, it's going to be high compared to where that stone wall is. The elevation there, yeah, I know it says 8 to 10 feet, but again, so if you add the 22 plus the roof, and you're gonna be looking up at a tin structure that's just not very sightly.
No.
Right.
I thank you for coming.
Rick, is that something you can work out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's your answer.
Perfect.
Thank you.
are there any other members of the public here tonight or online that would like to comment on this application? Please raise your hand. Seeing none. Are there any other comments from the commissioners or staff? If not, would you like to close the hearing? Would you like to close the hearing?
Yes, please.
Okay, then we will close this hearing. And moving on, we have another hearing. Second public hearing of the night. 7 Enterprise Drive. It's an SUP. 2-07-5-I. This is a continuation from 4/21/22. Rick, are there any new exhibits?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have the revised plans and the ARB comments.
And for the applicant?
Good evening, Jason Edwards, Jan Rubin Associates, 227 Stepney Road. Again, we were here a month or so ago with this same project. And we had the same tasks for ARB, which we've since done. They have improved the building. And we also have additional engineering comments that we have all addressed and worked out with the town engineer. There was a couple things that the commission had that were requested last time. One was where are the heating or air conditioning going to be? And it's going to be a wall mounted unit, so there'll be nothing on the ground. It'll be in the wall. And I think it's only, what is it? Just a wall heater is all they're planning to put in there for me. The other question was a lighting plan. I think now included in the drawing set somewhere. Yeah, this is the lighting plan. Really, all that's proposed for lighting is a couple of wall-mounted, I guess you'd call them, like sconces, almost wall pack above the doors. So it's not a significant amount of lighting. It matches what's there currently on the existing building.
Those are all changes?
Yeah, those are the only, that were not technical related to the town.
All right, let's go to the commission for questions. Let's start with Commissioner Russo.
No questions.
No questions.
No questions.
Commissioner Ambrosi.
What are the concrete walls for? Just for loading docks there? Is that what that is?
On the existing building?
This one building, in the proposed building. So those are gonna stay, right?
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. This is just a storage building for, they're after on their space, so they need to store their material.
And you show enough room to get a tractor trailer in there, right?
Yeah, there's enough room for a W50.
Okay, that's all I have.
No questions.
All right, then we'll go to the public. Are there any members of the public here tonight or online that have any comments on the application before us? 67 Enterprise Drive. Any members of the public here or online with any comments or questions? Hearing none, does staff have any other input into this?
Chairman?
Not. Then, would you like to?
Yeah, so I'd like to close the hearing.
All right, we will close this hearing. Third hearing tonight is SCP 2022-02 126 Main Street, B2. This is continued from 4/21/22. However, I do have a letter from the applicant. They would like to formally withdraw their SCP application. So this would be marked as withdrawn.
Number 3.
Number four. We have a final draft of the affordable housing plan. This is a year plan in accordance with PA 17-170. In other words, this wasn't our idea. Commissioners, this wasn't the idea of the staff, or this wasn't the idea of anyone in town. This was given to us by the state of Connecticut from Hartford. This is a requirement that we, every 5 years, publish a plan. Plan is to show how we are going to bring our town up to the state standard or the state wish at 10% of all housing be affordable. So affordable is not cheap housing. Affordable is not Section 8. It's not subsidized housing. Affordable housing is affordable. And you have to be in a certain group to qualify for affordable housing. most new teachers, nurses, etc., most of the staff in the town would qualify for affordable housing. Probably many of your neighbors or even may qualify for affordable housing. So we're not talking about low-income housing here by any stretch of the imagination. We have worked in several subcommittee meetings on this plan. It's not perfect, but it's the best that we could come up with. And it's addressing all of the concerns that the state has. It's specific in that it's detailed enough. It does acknowledge that we have housing challenges in the state and in the town. It does give a variety of choices in housing that we're putting forward. It does address the current zoning regulations, and it does provide a path to possibly reach the goal of 10% at some time in the future, unless, of course, they change that goal. So tonight, we're going to present the plan to the public and ask for any comments or feedback that you might have. First, we're going to present the plan, and I'm going to have Rick Schultz, the town planner, do that. Once the plan is presented, there'll be time for anybody's comments or questions.
Mr. Chairman, Nicole's going to read the legal notice.
All right.
Planning and Zoning Commission, Monroe, Connecticut, notice of public hearing to be held May 19th, 2022. The Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on Monroe's Affordable Housing Plan for 2022 through 2027, dated April 16th, 2022, in accordance with PA 17-170 on Thursday, May 19th, 2022, at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom, and limited in-person attendees located at Monroe Town Hall, Council Chambers, 7 Fan Hill Road, Monroe, Connecticut, 06468. Interested person may be heard and written communications received by email at arshel@monroeconnecticut.org or telephone 203-452-2812. The Affordable Housing Plan for 2022 through 2027, dated April 26th, 2022, is on file at the town clerk's office and at www.monroeconnecticut.org. This was published twice on 5/4 and 5/11 in Voices.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, members of the audience, please pick up a copy that's on the table in front of you so we can all review the draft proposal together.
And because we're back. School. Take all of it, buddy. Just take it all. Got it all. Good job.
Good job.
Mr. Chairman, the exhibits for this evening are the draft plan as stated, the 2021 Plan of Conservation and Development, and the location mapping that's shown for the commission and members of the audience, identifying potential locations. As the chairman indicated, the commission has been actively working on the formulation of the Affordable Housing Plan as mandated under Public Act 17-170 and recommended as a goal in the 2021 Plan of Conservation and Development. It should be noted that during the formulation of the POCD, a questionnaire was sent out to the entire town. The commission received the results, and there was a total commitment of support on providing more affordable housing. That was made very clear to the commission during the POCD update. As the chairman indicated, this plan needs to be adopted by June of this year, 2022, and forward to the Office of Policy and Management. This plan must be adopted every 5 years per state statute. I will now discuss how this plan satisfies the statutory requirements of Section 8-30J. This 5-year plan shall be used as a guide similar to the 10-year POCD when processing affordable housing developments. This is why potential affordable housing locations are identified within this plan. I'm going to get into it a little bit later. We're identifying 7 locations. These locations, however, do not guarantee that the affordable housing development as proposed will be approved by the commission. It merely identifies that the location has some qualifying attributes. And I want to emphasize that. The commission is not only identifying the proposed 7 locations, and they will ultimately decide tonight upon the adoption of it, what locations they feel comfortable with. But these are merely recommended potential locations. They will have to go through a public hearing. The preferred zoning tool is the newly created Main Street Design District. And the commission just approved the first development under this new zoning application, resulting in the dedication of 19 deed-restricted affordable housing units. The commission should revisit the affordable housing plan first if an affordable housing proposal is not shown as a potential location. What I mean by that is this is a planning document, and the commission needs to use this for each and every affordable health application that it receives. The 127 Main Street proposal is shown in here. And it's because the commission has determined that that development is in the right location and it should provide affordable housing, or 10%, which equals 19 units. This MDD regulation, which I indicated is brand new, contains language for regulating affordable housing developments under 8-30G. You will hear this section quite a bit tonight. You've probably read about it in the paper. Most recently, the town of Fairfield got hit pretty hard. They denied a proposal in the downtown area. It was appealed, and the appeal overturned the commission's denial.
That's good.
It is important that these steps are maintained at all times to ensure proper planning is executed. I sound redundant, but this whole exercise is about proper planning. The state of Connecticut has now mandated all 169 towns to do an affordable housing plan by June of this year. And the commission started this several years ago with the POCD. This is not something that we just started recently. Well, they have been giving it a lot of thought. The commission is committed in providing more affordable housing. The other regulation available is the mixed-use development, which was used at the 4 Main Street development. That's right on the Trumbull Town line. And that will result in 2 deed-restricted apartment units. That still has to submit final detailed plans, but the conceptual was approved by the commission. The town of Monroe currently has a total of 92 dwelling units recognized as affordable, which represents 1.33% of the total housing units in the town, which is 6,918. Using the 10% set-aside requirement, that is what was initially done in 1980, I believe. The 10% still holds true. The 10% set-aside requirement of the state law would need a total of 691 units, which represent a shortage of 599 units. We need 599 units to comply with the 10% set aside. Now, I'm not going to get into, is that a realistic number? It's state law. We have to deal with it. There's been several attempts to adjust it and they have all failed. And as I indicated, Monroe was committed in providing more affordable housing before this Public Act 17170 was passed in 2017. The affordable housing has been recognized by this commission over the last 20 years. So the commission is supportive of providing appropriately located affordable housing units. Currently, the following developments have received either preliminary or final approval resulting in affordable housing units. 4 Main Street, and that's using the mixed use regulations, will result in 2 deed restricted units. 167 Main Street, that is the first development under the Main Street design, and it resulted in a new zone called SDD, Special Design District Number 1. That will result in 19 units. Final detailed plans will be submitted, and they'll be coming in soon. 195 through 211 Main Street, 49 units, that's the senior housing. That is completely financed by governmental funding, and all of the units there, all of the 49 will be considered affordable. This represents a total of 70 new affordable units and an increase from 1.33, which I just alluded to 2.25% based on the new total of 7,175. All of these new projects have additional market rate units, so you have to add the total unit count and then take 10% of that. So there will be an increase of 1.3 to 2.25. This is exactly what the state is looking for. They don't want a plan that says we support it, but nothing is happening. Because 8-30G applications will be submitted. If the commission doesn't like the location, they'll deny it, and it'll go to court. And 99.9% of the time, it is reversed, as what happened in the town of Fairfield. It must be noted, and to clarify tonight, that this affordable housing plan represents housing that is cost on an annual basis less than 30% of the income of a household earning 80% of the area's median income, which is the affordable housing cost. Currently, the affordable housing cost for Monroe is currently $23,520 per year, or $1,960 per month. That is not inexpensive housing. And as the chairman indicated, this is not low-income housing or Section 8 housing. It's affordable. It's meant to provide housing with people that have certain income thresholds, and that usually includes teachers, policemen, firemen, et cetera. This represents 30% times 80% of the 98,000, which is the income max, which equals $23,520. And as I indicated, this is not low-income housing. Okay, the next part that I'm going to talk about, I want you to really give it a lot of thought, because this is the most important part of the plan document. The most important section in this affordable housing plan is the list of potential affordable housing locations. They are 4 Main Street, and that will be a future mixed-use development, retail with apartments. 167 Main Street, that is a future medium-density apartment development. 195 through 211 Main Street, future senior living apartment development. All of the units are deed restricted. The next one is the Stepney Village area. That is the commercially zoned area. And what we are looking at is the potential conversion of second floor areas to apartment units, and additionally, some potential mixed use developments. The next location is off of 111, 232 Elm Street. This is for a potential medium-density apartment development. And the last two are off of Route 34, Roosevelt Drive, including portions of the Stevenson lumber property for potential medium apartment development or mixed-use development. And the Route 34 conversion of the second floor area. On the south side of Route 34, Roosevelt Drive, you have a strip of two-story buildings, and conceivably the second floor area can be converted into apartments. Obviously, across the street, you have the gas station, that's a single story. So it's really the south side of that strip of Route 34. Now, what I'd like to do now is to go into the executive summary of this document, and then the chairman will then open it up for public comment. In 2017, the General Assembly adopted Public Act 17-170, requiring every municipality to write a plan every 5 years indicating how the community intends to increase the number of affordable housing developments in the municipality. In accordance with this requirement and in fulfillment of one of the goals of the 2021 Plan of Conservation and Development, the Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission has developed this affordable housing plan. Affordable housing is generally defined as housing that is available to households making less than the area median income and costing less than 30% of the household annual income. This can include both naturally occurring market rate apartment units or specifically restricted properties that have been income limited by deed in developing this plan. Members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, aided by the town planner and the Planning and Zoning Administrator, review current housing conditions, demographic and market trends, community resources, and the input of town residents to assess Monroe's current and future needs and development recommendations. I have stated where we're at, 1.33. Obviously, that is in non-compliance with the 10%. Many more new units have to be approved to fulfill that. I also want to state that unfortunately, the state law only allows these units to be deed restricted for 30 years. If it's not in perpetuity, it'd have to be voluntarily done by the developer, but after 30 years, they go away. Once again, I'm not here to say there's flaws in the enabling statute, but it's always like you have to always play catch up because 30 years comes and goes. And if you're not at the 10%, you're losing inventory. While recognizing that Monroe's historic settlement pattern, limited public infrastructure, constrains employment market, and concerns for its essential small town spirit may include any rapid housing or population growth. This plan strives to make progress in several ways. Now, Monroe, as you know, has no sewers. That has helped greatly in this commission not receiving many affordable housing applications. You only have to go south of Route 25 to the town of Trumbull, and they got hit very hard in the 80s and 90s. I was the town planner in North Branford. I was the first staff person to receive a support by the judge on a denial. We then lost 5 thereafter. The town of Trumbull called me and asked me for any assistance. And I basically said that we need to address this at the state level. And one good thing came out of it. At that time in the early 90s, industrially zoned land was not protected from this appeal process. It subsequently was changed, and industrially zoned land is protected. Residential and commercial is not protected. And all of 25, for the most part, is commercially zoned, and part of 111 is commercially zoned, as well as parts of 34. Over the next 5 years, the town of Monroe will seek to increase the number of affordable housing developments in town through one or more of the following. increase the awareness of the availability of these federal type loans. That's exactly what the senior housing is using. They're using federal loans. 2, facilitate an increase in the total number of accessory dwelling units. Monroe has always been upfront with allowing accessory dwelling units in this community. It has helped, but these units are not deed restricted. They're not counted in the inventory. Once again, the property owner would have to voluntarily do that, and most choose not to do it. But it is a form of affordable housing, even if it's not deed restricted. Staff has been getting numerous calls on this very topic. One of the requests is to allow detached structures to have accessory dwelling units in it. The town of Monroe currently does not allow that. We've discussed it at the subcommittee level, and they want to keep it restricted to the way it is now. But after this plan is adopted, the zoning subcommittee will again revisit that issue. We do have to do a little tweaking to be in compliance with the full changes that the state legislation has done as well too. But the accessory dwelling unit clearly is the easiest way to provide affordable housing in all our 169 towns. 3, encourage the establishment of income-limited accessory dwelling units, and that's what I just said. Develop design guidelines or standards for multifamily housing and accessory apartments. The commission, through the new zone, the Main Street Design District, does have standards in there. As with any new regulation, you have to revisit it and tweak it. The commission will be tweaking that down the road to add the appropriate standards. But what makes the MDD work well, it requires a zone change, and the commission listens to the applicant and they talk about architectural components. So that in itself is a win-win situation versus doing an 8-30G where you have no control whatsoever over architecturals. I can't tell you enough because I've witnessed it in other towns. When you do an 8-30G, you get an inferior product, bottom line. So this plan will say, hey, use our new regulation, the MDD. It requires a public hearing and there are standards in there. 5, facilitate the creation of additional multifamily housing in Monroe. We're doing it by identifying these other areas in town. As I indicated, it's going to be up to the 5 commissioners tonight voting on it with how far they want to go with identifying these potential locations. Clearly, the first 3 on 25 are pretty straightforward. The commission has already dealt with them either informally or conceptually or through final detailed plans. So the other ones, the commission will listen to comments from the audience and then decide what to include in the final plan or not. 6, facilitate the repurposing of existing structures to middle density and multifamily housing. This is the area in Stepney where you have 2-story structures and parts of 34. Some of these 2-story structures are vacant. And many towns are saying, let's repurpose some of these older buildings that are not being occupied. It should be noted that the commission does have an issue with ground level apartments. They have always stated that they do not support it because the quality of life is inferior. At the ground level, you get the impact of the noises and the other issues that are associated with that site. But that's something that the commission will revisit because they will probably see that down the road. 7, increase public awareness of Monroe's housing efforts. This is part of it. Staff is going to continue, once this public hearing has ended, to work with the local newspapers and different organizations. This is something that the state of Connecticut wants to see. This plan is not there to collect dust. It's there to facilitate what the goal is, and that's provide more affordable housing. 8, evaluate properties in town for potential public-private affordable housing partnership. Once again, the zoning subcommittee will be examining all the properties. Also in this plan, we need to do a soil analysis. As I indicated, as you all know, there are no public sewers in the town of Monroe. So we really need to analyze what are the soil conditions for these properties that may have enough interest by development to do affordable housing. And once again, we want to avoid the straightforward 8-30G because you don't have the controls. And 9, other opportunities that may be identified in the future. This is not going to be a stagnant plan, just like the POCD that gets updated every year, every 10 years. This plan needs to be updated every 5 years. And as I indicated, if a site comes in for potential affordable housing, we want the commission to deal with the modification or the revision of this plan document first. It should be in this plan because this is step 1. This is the official affordable housing plan. This plan by the Planning and Zoning Commission lays out a series of implementation steps that assigns responsibility and priority to these actions so that progress can be recognized and tracked. Working collectively and seeking to improve the community's approach in numerous smaller ways, this plan will assist the town of Monroe to become more attainable and equitable for current and future residents alike. Now, I'm just going to read and summarize the various sections. I just read the executive summary. That gives a summary of everything that's in the document. Once again, in the introduction, in 2017, this public act was created, and they said all 169 towns have an affordable housing plan by June of 2022. And as I reported, this commission was aware of that when they took up the POCD in 2020, and that was adopted in 2021. The state has not provided a great deal of guidance regarding the development of affordable housing plans. There are, however, a few statutory provisions to consider. Per 8-30J, the plan must specify how the municipality intends to increase the number of affordable housing. This commission has already started it. I just read off 3 projects on Route 25. This commission is committed. But the commission knows there's room for more, and that's why they identified 4 other locations. But as I indicated, they will decide where they want to stop with this plan tonight. Per 8-2, a town zoning regulation should encourage the development of housing opportunities, including opportunities for multifamily dwellings, consistent with soil types, terrain, and infrastructure capacity. Promote housing choice and economic diversity in housing, including housing for below and moderate income households. Encourage the development of housing that will meet the housing needs identified in the state's consolidated plan for housing and community development, and the housing component and the other components of the state plan of conservation and development. There are essentially 3 planning documents in the state of Connecticut. The state plan, which I just made reference to, the MetroCog regional plan, and then the local plan of conservation and development. Those are the 3 documents that this commission uses regularly when they are making decisions, not only for residential, but for economic development as well, too. Now, most towns have all done a zoning map, except for a few, like Bethlehem. They do not have zoning. But most towns have done zoning. Everything has been set up for decades. So it's pretty straightforward in most towns. Now, with this plan, we have to recognize where potentially they can go. While the development of the affordable housing plan is required by the state, the Planning and Zoning Commission viewed the development of this plan as an opportunity to look more closely at the current housing situation in Monroe, as well as the needs of our current and future residents, to refine our long-range planning. Consistent with the goals articulated in the 2021 POCD, we have sought to develop a plan that will help stabilize the town's population while ensuring that Monroe continues to be a vibrant community that celebrates and protects its historic landscape and character. Once again, variety is the buzzword here. The 3 developments on 25, 2 out of the 3 are market rate. The third is the senior housing, 55 and older. We're trying to provide a variety of housing types for the community. And the questionnaire that was sent out townwide indicated that we want a variety of housing. We have a lot of older individuals in this town that are empty nesters, and they indicated that they would like to live in apartments with amenities. And the 127 Main Street will provide that. As a matter of fact, the commission went so far as say we want and we demand elevators. They incorporated that. So kudos to the commission and kudos to the developer for providing that. So as you can see, the commission wants to see a variety of different housing stocks, and they have been doing that. Now, the affordable housing, what is the definition, financial criteria? I went over that. Once again, the 2020 income data is currently 98,000 based on the Department of Housing. And the affordable housing cost for Monroe is currently $23,520 per year or $1,960 per month. Still very high. That represents Fairfield County, that represents Connecticut. It is what it is, but this is what we have to deal with. Now, appearance. The state generally does not regulate the appearance or size of affordable housing unit developments. Affordable housing units can be created with as little as 1 unit. And as I indicated, the 4 Main Street, there's 2 units. That property's in 2 towns, though. The bulk of the development is in Trumbull, but Monroe side will have 2 units. That's 10% of the 20 in the Monroe side, or 2 units. But that is why staff is recommending, and the subcommittee is recommending to the full commission, that we look at the Stepney Village. There are 2-story structures there, older buildings that could accommodate second-floor apartments, as well as those buildings on 34. How to improve housing access. As I indicated, there's a variety of ways, and it deals with federal loans, facilitate more accessory dwelling units, and the commission has been doing that for decades. Whether or not we get deed restricted to help us, that's up to the property owner. We cannot mandate that. Increase the public awareness, and that's what we have to do at the staff level. We'll be continuing to do that. As indicated in the executive, we need to promote accessory dwelling units. B, allow for middle density housing as of right in certain areas, and as large home retrofits. We have the zoning tool. The commission just approved the MDD. It requires a public hearing. It will be scrutinized. But once again, if the applicant has a piece of property that's not identified in this plan, he's going to go, well, you didn't identify my parcel. I'm going to do an 8-30G, and we'll see where it goes. So I can't emphasize it. It's got to be identified. But once again, that's up to the 5 commissioners that will be voting on it. Allow multifamily housing within 25, 111, and the 34 corridor areas. We have already done that, as I indicated, on 25. And there is room to do it on 111 and 34 as well. Promote the USDA and Jaffa loans. That's already been stated. And lastly, pursue partnerships with nonprofit and senior community developers. Now, the senior housing development, that was not a partnership, but the town government and this Planning and Zoning Commission welcomed them. They knew there was a need for more senior housing, and the product was outstanding. The commission was very happy. That property is sitting on top of a hill. It will be seen, and the product will fit in with the location. And that was a win-win situation. And F, explore other opportunities that may be identified in the future. As I indicated, this cannot be a stagnant document. We have to keep visiting it. And I think this commission is going to be revisiting it probably every 6 months, because I believe there's going to be activity. The market is suggesting that. And the parcel needs to be identified first on this plan. Now, in this document, we have provided you with an updated zoning map. This shows the Special Development District number 1. That is the 188 multifamily unit luxury apartment that the commission recently approved. They do have to come back for final detailed plans. That was just a conceptual. So please review this zoning map and familiarize yourself with these new zoning districts. Okay, the next set of maps show all the locations for Main Street, 127 Main Street, 195 through 211 Main Street. The Stepney Center, which is the commercially zoned area. I have larger scale maps here that can show you a little bit better. We have 232 Elm Street. And this particular piece of property, we already know that the landowner was ready to do an 8-30G. He went before the zoning regulations subcommittee and requested that it be considered. Subcommittee said, yes, we'll consider, take it to the full commission. It's here tonight, and the 5 members tonight will decide yay or nay on whether 232 Elm Street will be considered. And the last map shows the Stevenson lumber parcel. The westerly portion of the site is pristine. It has not been disturbed by the Stevenson lumber development. And the other areas are the southerly side of Route 34, where you have existing 2-story buildings. And the last sheet is the action items. You have A through F. A is to promote accessory dwelling units. And the lead organization is the Planning and Zoning Department. Partner entities, Planning and Zoning Commission. Now, the town already allows it, but we do have to tweak some of the regulations. B, allow for middle density housing as of right in certain areas and as large home retrofits. And the lead organization for all the subcategories are the Planning and Zoning Department, partner entities, Planning and Zoning Commission, and we have moderate to year 2. C, allow higher unit multifamily development of the Route 25 corridor area. Develop zoning regulations to allow and manage multifamily. We have the zoning tool. As I indicated, the commission needs to revisit it. They just approved the first medium density development of 127 Main Street. D, promote USDA and CHAFA loan programs with the real estate community. Planning and Zoning Department will work with our local realtors and developers to promote that. Once again, the senior housing was done by federal money. E, pursue partnerships with nonprofit and senior community developments. Same thing. There's always room for more senior housing. Our population is growing. It was in the questionnaire with the POCD. We need more senior housing. So the town can do it with a partnership arrangement. And like I said, with 127, that was a nonprofit group that did it on its entirety alone. And F, explore other opportunities that may be identified in the future. We may be missing some ideas, and that's why the commission has to revisit it. But this is a very good beginning, and I'm pleased to say that this commission has been very proactive, and they really took off from the 2021 POCD, resulting in the creation of zoning, and ultimately the approval of 3 developments on Route 25. Mr. Chairman, I think I've completed everything.
That was a great presentation. Can you remove the plans that are up on the wall there so we can use online? Well, that concludes the presentation. We're going to be moving to public participation. I have a letter to start with commenting on tonight's presentation. This is from George W. Ganem Sr. As the owner of properties on Route 25, I wish to inform the commission that I support Monroe's affordable housing plan, with one exception, that in its present proposed boundary, it does not include 605 Main Street. I would request that the commission extend its northern border to include the above location. First comment. Okay. Public participation, we'd like to ask you to, when you're recognized, to come forward, state your name and address at the microphone. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please don't come up and repeat what the previous person has said. If you agree, if you'd like to show your support for that person, come up and state that. Don't have to repeat what we've already heard. Okay, so we'll start with the members that are in the audience. Are any of the people here tonight interested in commenting or on tonight's application? If you are, please raise your hand.
The location.
Yes, over here. Come forward, please, and state your name and address for the record.
Hi.
My name is Monica MP and I live at 43 Laurel Drive.
Can you speak up a little bit, please?
Can you bang on the, make sure it's on? Joe, can you turn it on?
Yeah.
Sorry about
Hold
that.
on, hold on.
There we go.
My name is Monica MP. I'm at 43 Laurel Drive. I'm interested in the property that you spoke of on 127 Main. I'm interested in just understanding, I had a few questions, if you don't mind addressing them now.
Go ahead.
So it was mentioned that it was going to be 9 homes and middle density is what you referred to them?
19 deed restricted, 188 units, of which 19 will be deed restricted.
What does that mean?
So there's 8 large apartment buildings, which in total, how many units?
188.
180.
188.
And then a 9th building is a clubhouse separate from the apartment buildings.
So if you comply with your income,
Right,
you could conceivably occupy one of those 19.
right, okay.
Instead of being all market rate, which would be in excess of $2,000. They're going between $2,000 and $3,000 per month.
Per month. So these are homes and rentals?
These are apartments.
Can you mute Sarah?
You're sizzling.
Sarah?
There's that prime 111.
There's a prime.
Mute them all until it's their turn.
Trying, thank you.
Oh, you got it? Oh.
Is that Sarah?
There it is.
Okay, thank you.
Someone's having a good time.
She's recording
Sorry
the
about
meeting.
that. I'm like,
Okay, so thank you for
Recording the
clarifying
meeting,
that. I had questions about that, because she also mentioned elevators. So how high are these buildings going to be?
3 stories, 42 feet maximum.
Just 2 stories?
Three
Three
stories.
3
stories.
stories?
And that's why we wanted the elevators to reduce the stress on the EMTs in town and first responders to be able to access the 3rd floor in case there's
And that's
an
not a
emergency.
conflict with our sewer, like the fact that we don't have
No.
No, no.
The maximum height is 42 feet.
Okay. You also mentioned that the zoning changed. Does it also change in the surrounding neighborhoods?
No, it's, that new zone is 1,500 feet from the right-of-way line of Route 25 in. And it has to have direct access to Route 25, as well as Route 111, as well as Route 34. So it doesn't go internally into the residential areas.
Thank you. And then, I guess I just want a qualification of one more thing. You mentioned that this is affordable, but I'm just curious, what is the difference between, say, Section 8 housing and this plan in terms of the requirements?
It's income level based,
So the only difference between them, it's a lower income rate?
Yes.
Everything else is the same?
yes.
And that difference is by how much?
It's significant. Section 8 housing
Yeah.
is significantly lower.
Huge difference.
I can find that
Very
number.
substantial. But we're, as the chairman indicated, this is affordable housing.
Right,
It's still very expensive. You have to be gainfully employed
right.
to satisfy the cost of the monthly fee.
And you mentioned there was going to be amenities and,
127 will have amenities, pool,
right,
clubhouse,
okay.
walk trails.
Dog park, little dog park.
That's just that one property. That's not
That's the
all.
one that I was,
Yeah, 'cause that's right next to you, right? Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm curious to see that. And then, is it too premature? Do you have design plans already?
No, that's forthcoming, so you'll be able to,
Public hearing on that.
Yeah.
If you watch the papers and
Okay.
town website, then you can come here for that specific development.
Okay, great.
Comment on it then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for talking.
Okay, is there any other members of the public here tonight that would like to comment? Up front here? Have your hand up? No? In the back? Yes? Come in.
Yeah.
Kathy Lynch from Guinea Road, Monroe. I basically have some questions more than anything else. I thought the zoning regulations limited the height of buildings to 2.5 stories, or 3 stories, whatever, 35 feet. But I heard somebody say 42. Has that been changed?
yeah, the new regulation to accommodate architectural features gave him that latitude.
Architectural features as in a peaked roof or as
Peaked
a
roof,
third
right.
story?
3rd story and the peak roof. They want a traditional architectural design.
So would that mean we could have 3-story buildings in various parts of town under that regulation, or is it?
Only within those areas as identified by the commission on Route 25, parts of 111 and 34.
So there could be 3-story buildings up to 42 feet.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I did understand that correctly. On your plan, you refer to the Main Street Design District, but you don't refer to the Roosevelt Drive or 111. Are they not the same, or is that just?
No, yeah, the Main Street Design District overlay. And that's why I said refer to that zoning map that's been updated. It's all of 25, part of 111 and part of 30.
Just the plan is calling it Main Street, but it really means.
Right. It's a generic, yes.
Okay, got it. Okay. Are there any wetlands issues on any of these properties? I think there is something behind Dunkin' Donut or next to Dunkin' Donuts. Are there any other parcels that might have wetlands issues? And has the commission already taken those into consideration?
The commission is aware of those. And as I indicated, because this requires a zone change, it's at a very high level, scrutiny level. And they will eventually be presented with some significant environmental issues, and they'll have to deal with that. And that's why I brought up when I was the town planner in North Branford, that site that we won, it was all wetlands. And the judge goes, yeah, this site is incapable of accommodating affordable. And we won. But then after, we lost 5 after that. So it is very much a part of the review.
Because of our lack of sewers, I have concerns, not so much about the multifamily dwellings, because those developers, you know, they know what they need to do, those engineers, they know what they need to do to provide clean water and clean, effluent and all the things that are necessary. But I do have some concerns when we start talking about accessory apartments. I would be very hesitant about them. Number one, we have lack of control over who actually, the number of people who would be there. We think they're all for grannies and grandpas and, newlyweds, or college grads, but that doesn't necessarily compute because people come, they leave.
You're absolutely right.
So I have some serious.
You don't have to be related. You do not have to be related.
I have some serious concerns about how those would be controlled or regulated. And I think that's it for my questions, but I probably have more. Oh, I did have one other. 232 Elm Street. How large a parcel is that?
5 acres.
5 acres. Okay. I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lindstrom.
You aren't though.
Are there any other members of the public here tonight that would like to comment on this application? Yes. Front. Just state your name and address.
Yes, hey, Peter from Putty Hill Road. I just have one question. Since you guys are building so much apartment building, I'm just curious that are there any support for like the demand for building so much building, whether it be affordable or not? Do you guys have such data to show that are there incoming population or outgoing, like basically support for the demand to build this much like apartment building? Just curious that if you guys have any data, because when I saw the news, I tried to Google like if there's any population growth since the COVID, because you know how we saw other people moving back home since the COVID and moving to Monroe because the school is better than the New Year and since the COVID. And I just want to curious that if town has any the data to show that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as you know, each application requires a market analysis. We had that for 127. Yes, all of that information is provided to the commission before they make a decision.
No, I'm just curious that are any of those data not publicly available for us? Just
If a more general scope.
Is it on our past meeting? Is that?
Yeah, that submission is online, but I can provide that. If you want to come to the office at your convenience, we can.
I'm not challenging any of that. I'm just.
No, we
curious.
can give it to you.
curious,
Yeah,
yeah.
Less
no,
than the
yeah.
Monroe, you know?
During a previous for 127, they provided all of that for us, including the market demands. So if you go online to the monroeconnecticut.org and for planning and zoning, you can look up our past meetings and the materials that we looked at. So it'll be in there. But if you can't find it, call Rick.
Okay. Can you give me the name and what date that could?
The date.
Let me,
Which meeting?
yeah, let me think about that as we talk, and I'll before we go tonight, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Sandra Alford, 39 Birchwood Road. My question, I didn't understand exactly how many houses total, not affordable only, but total are we talking about?
That's to be determined. So once this commission decides on the number of parcels that they want to consider, we can quantify that. But I wanted to show you what the commission has dealt with so far. The biggest one by far is 127 Main Street, and that was 188 dwelling units. That is quite unique because that property can accommodate major septic system areas. And I'm also recommending that this commission authorize soil testing because we don't know the answers. Because there's no sewer in town. We don't know what the sites can accommodate. So it's hard to quantify that until we do a soil analysis of all the potential sites.
And how are our schools going to accommodate all that influx?
That's something that the state of Connecticut has said, you got to deal with it at a local level, you know? But I can tell you the better way to do this, instead of doing an 8-30G where you have no control, is to use the zoning tool that this commission has created. We have that complete analysis of impacts to schools. The commission went over that with the 127. And many commissioners are very in tune with what the impacts are to the schools. So all of that information was provided for the 127. And they will continue to use that tool.
Also with that, that's a great question because obviously all of us have kids here in schools. It definitely came up, but if you look at the analysis of what's getting put in, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, it's such a small number that affect the school system. It's a study that's done nationwide.
Yeah, but I used to live in a community that had 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. And the 1 bedroom apartments had like families of 5, 6 people, like a lot of them. Because we're talking about them being more affordable. So, families, low income families will come and say that, and live in a smaller, apartment in order to.
Totally understandable, but it's so it's set to the pricing of Monroe. This is not set to the pricing of a different town. So like affordable in Greenwich is unaffordable for me, right? So still Monroe could still be unaffordable to some, but it's more affordable for Monroe. You understand what I'm trying to say?
A $2,000, 1 bedroom unit could still be affordable for a family of 5 or 6. So we're not talking about no kids. We're talking about a lot of kids.
Yeah, but if you look at the studies done nationwide, I mean.
I
hear you. I understand. But when you're proposing something to us, we have to go by facts and numbers, and we can't go by, well, I walked down to this apartment building and I saw 30 kids.
What she's talking about doesn't necessarily make its way onto those studies.
Yes.
Right. So for instance,
We discussed it with the developer of this project that you're talking about, and the developer does yearly inspections of each apartment that is in place. And if there's other people that are living there, they remove them out of the facility.
So there's a max.
That's what I was just going to say, Sandra.
It's a max.
We talked
So
to.
the developer, they don't want like 5 people moving into 1 apartment because it's a high-end development. So they have yearly inspections.
I mean, it affects their septic system, it affects all that.
It affects everything. So he has yearly inspections and they go through the apartments, make sure that there's only 1 bedroom and only 1 person or 2 people are living there. And then if they're not, they evict them.
Okay.
We discussed that in the commission when that was in front of
Every
us.
case got to come in front of us after this. This doesn't just give everybody a go-ahead to move in and have a free-for-all. So we're going to be looking at everything on a case-by-case basis.
And my first question, Sandra, is always, I'm also the PTO president. So, and that was always a concern of mine too, because we know how stretched we are. So with this new design district, we have the ability to kind of put those parameters in place and ask those questions and ask for data before we just okay something. So.
All right, thank you.
But thank you.
We have the same concern, trust me. Like, I have kids in the school system as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the audience here tonight? Yes.
Good evening. I'm Joel Leneker. I reside at 70 Huntingtown Road in Monroe. I have just a couple questions and a few comments. My first question is the 7 identified sites you have in your proposal. Do you have a projection from any expert or anyone amongst yourselves as how far if that was to be relatively developed for affordable housing, how close do we get to the state mandated 10%?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even in the ballpark.
Are we saying 4%, maybe?
No.
Not even
that?
Because every time you increase the total number of units, it's then 10% of that.
Right. No, I understand. I'm just saying, so the 7 areas that we've selected right now moves the needle a little bit, but the public should not come away from this public hearing or from minutes saying, oh, if we identify these 7 areas and we effectively use the real estate there, that we will get close to 10%.
Right, you're not going from 1 to 8.
We're making progress.
No, it's not a criticism, it's just clear.
No, you're 100% right.
It's unattainable. I'm not here to bash the state statute because it's unattainable for small towns.
We talk about, I don't have the right terms, but multifamily, and I like to think, my example would be is if I own a piece of property that has 3 acres, 3 buildable acres, I have 1 house on it. I would say, can I build another structure? And I would call that infilling as opposed to, I don't have a better term for it, but infilling. So therefore, do I have to come before you for a zone change from 2 acre now that I can put that down into 1 acre and I can build 2 houses on that site, provided they meet septic requirements? I would go to zoning board of appeals for setback waivers and things like that. Now that's a way for us to infill certain parcels to get towards that affordable housing portion, right? So what's the board's position or the commission's position on that idea? Is there, I don't expect a dialogue, I'm just gonna say, I'm throw it out there, is have you thought about it? Because there are, like you have said, in your report, there are some big houses with nobody in them, right? So the person could sell off the big house, put a family in there, then they could build themselves a smaller house. Or in California, what happens with real estate so expensive, and you're probably aware of this, is that the parents no longer need the big house, but their kids have no place to live. So what they do is they build a smaller house, a separate house on the same property for the parents to move into, and then the children move in to raise their family in their family home. I mean, that's another way to gain affordable housing. So I would just ask the board if you have a position on that, or if you've given that idea, because it comes back to bigger planning and zoning requirements than just the 7 spots that we've selected.
Absolutely.
Let's see. What is your opinion or position on a developer coming in and saying, I wish to build affordable housing, but not in the 7 areas that your plan has identified? Will you then say to them, I know you can't say no because they have that option to move on to 840G or whatever it is, right?
840G, yeah.
They can do that, but would you strongly say no to them and say, you got to be in these property areas?
Well, as I indicated, and we'll be doing this with the zoning subcommittee, staff will advise, we have interest from these property owners. They're located in areas A, B, C.
Yep.
And the subcommittee will say, A looks reasonable, B doesn't look reasonable, C looks reasonable.
Right.
Take it to the full commission, and then the commission will say, yes, let's have a public hearing and update this plan.
Right. Okay.
Because it should be in this plan first before you go to the zone change.
Understood. Things that the state like, such as access to mass transit, buses, trains, bike paths. Obviously, Route 25 fits that need really well because we have a main corridor that runs from Bridgeport to Danbury, in essence, or to 84, from I-95 to 84. So it makes it a prime, that route makes it a prime target, not target's the wrong word, it's a bad word, opportunity for that. Will you, as a board later on, then recommend to the Greater Bridgeport Transit Authority or whoever, the planning COG or whatever, to say, we want bus service now. But we want bus service that doesn't go just to Stepney Village. It takes us all the way to Danbury, and it takes us not to the Trumbull Mall, but takes us to the Bridgeport train station. I see this as an opportunity right now. If you're going to try to promote affordable housing, all the other goodies that go with it should now be on our radar. Streetscaping, okay? You don't have to tell me that Route 25 is not the most attractive, right? This is an opportunity through applications to demand really good streetscaping, really good lighting, all right? To let these developers come in and get away with that doesn't improve our community, and it doesn't make the people in that community feel better. So, and if it's not cheap, because it's affordable, right? I would think those people would like to see those amenities or that kind of aesthetic.
Those people have to bring that application before us.
I understand that, but you.
So when they bring that application before us, all that stuff is taken into consideration.
I understand, believe me, I'm just urging you.
If you know anything about this commission, this is a landscape commission. It was with previous regimes.
Right.
Still hasn't changed.
But we have currently in Stepney Village, we have light pollution, we have light fixtures right at that intersection that were never approved by this commission. No applications will be on file.
Non-dark sky compliant.
They're not dark sky compliant, okay? They're blowing lights into people's eyes as you go up because I travel it every day, okay? So all I'm saying is, yes, through the application process, you can catch that, right? And it takes a long time till some of these properties come back again for compliance. All I'm urging is that part of your review process is now look at those areas and see what are they doing? Are there some violations? I'm not saying you can go after the people, but are there violations that you're aware of? Where I'm going with this is my overall message is good design is good business. It always, always, always is. Architectural firms, the good architectural firms work to that idea. Good planning firms work to that idea, right? So as these people come forward and ask for second floor apartments, they will be attracting young couples because it's not senior friendly, right? We have tons of asphalt on these properties that's really ugly, right? So are you going to have a lookbook or some kind of document that suggests to them what you would like to see? If it's a strip mall with a second floor, can you go across the United States and pull some pictures and say, here's are some of the things that we like. We're not saying you have to do them, but here are some of the things we like. We like planting of esplanades. We like better curb cuts.
I understand what you're saying, but if you've been listening to this commission, we just did that with Dunkin' Donuts on 111.
I understand that. I'm just
saying. We took that 4 meetings for something that should have been approved in 1 meeting because of the look of that building.
I get it. All I'm putting in the record is that you will not be sitting on this board forever. There will be other people coming on this board.
I'm dying here.
Never leaving.
The other thing you should be aware of, and you're probably aware of, that in the Stepney Village area, there is a zone, there is a state historic district that runs a considerable part of that parcel. I am not saying that that is any reason not to approve any type of affordable housing whatsoever, quite the contrary. But if you're not aware of it, you should put it in your database, okay? And how it might impact transportation and things like that. Only that as a suggestion. Lastly, I would think that if you want to build community support for your idea, that a really good PowerPoint presentation be put together, put on your website, and even maybe sometime through planning and zoning, start a page where people can review it and can throw out comments. Now, I know most commissions are scared of social media. Absolutely. But social media can work really well for you if you define the parameters in which you're trying to gather the data.
I agree.
Okay? I am a data-driven person. I need data to support my decisions if I am sitting in your position or if I'm sitting on a board, a public board, or whatever. It helps, with the process. It is not the end all or be all for it. I think I've said enough.
Well, thank you very much for your comment.
Good luck with your.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any members of the public online that would like to comment on the affordable housing plan? Please raise your hand. Okay, we have Mark. Can someone unmute Mark?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Mark Neglia. I live in Nickel Place in Monroe. I'm a little confused about what this vote is actually going to accomplish, this vote on the final draft. I'm concerned, is it by voting for this, if this were approved tonight, does that mean that we are granting as of right build rights to these locations going forward? So if a developer wishes to build a low income unit on one of these lots, they will, as of right, be allowed to do so. Because I'm a little confused about how that. It sounds like the benefit is we don't want 830G because that would remove any control by the planning and zoning board, which we don't want. So by keeping control, by having this plan, we're keeping control. But if it's as of right, isn't that a loss of control also? I'm confused about how that works and what this vote is for exactly.
No, it would not be as of right. The vote is just to approve the plan.
It's a guide.
As a guide. There would be no as of right provisions.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's similar to our POCD. It's a guide. We use it in making decisions. It's consistent with the affordable housing plan or inconsistent.
Okay, because it just mentions in the final draft that I'm looking at that we should have as of right usage for these different locations. And my concern really is, like, for example, this Main Street, I had no idea we were talking about a 200 unit, 3-story rental complex. I really had no idea it was that grand of an idea. I mean, I moved to Monroe here from Milford. I actually grew up in Trumbull, but moved to Milford because I couldn't afford to live there after I graduated. I went to Milford instead, and they were building this exact kind of a thing, a 3-story, several hundred unit multifamily complex, which is why I finally agreed to move to Monroe. But it looks like now we're in the same boat here. Is there any way to get an idea of what we're looking at, like the Elm Street? How many? It's 5 acres. You said how many units are we talking about in that area, or is there just no idea?
Yeah, that unit was under 20, I believe.
I think it was 18.
18.
So 18 units on that 5 acre property on Elm
Yeah,
Street.
Mark, you have to understand, unlike Trumbull and Milford, there's no sewers here. It's all driven by soil.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The numbers would be quadruple if you had sewers.
Yeah, but it's 200 units, a 3-story, 200 unit complex just seems utterly utterly and completely out of place. And that seems really, really over the top, honestly. And it seems a shame that we have to have 200 units just to get 18 units of low income or whatever affordable. It's unfortunate that we have to have such a ratio. I mean, it seems like we need to build hundreds and thousands of units to achieve the 10%, which seems utterly unreasonable. Just one other thing. The Stepney seems, I read somewhere, I believe it was the Desegregate Connecticut bill, I forget where, that if a unit was greater, it was built prior to 1990, you couldn't include it towards the affordable housing. Some of those buildings, from what I understand, that we're talking about building on the second floor are older. Is that an issue in the Stepney area or the third floor?
To be recognized as affordable housing, they have to be deed restricted, and that requires a document in the land records, or it's got to be funded by, a federal funding source that's recognized by the state of Connecticut.
Okay. Well, if I have to make a comment, I think that the Stepney and 34 area seems like a terrible place for affordable housing. It seems not close to services or employment or transportation. So if we have any say as the public, I would say those would be an area that we probably not want to include for the affordable housing. I'll conclude now. Just one other question: is there anybody on the panel here who would be in favor of, if they had the ability to vote to remove 830G at the state level? Is there anybody on this board who would not want to remove 830G if they could? If I could have a show of hands, and that's all I had to say. Thank you very much.
I'd like to go with a no comment on that one.
Are there any other members of the public online that would like to comment on the affordable housing plan?
Oh, my Lord.
Any other members of the public online that would like to comment on the affordable housing plan? Seeing none, then we'll move on.
Can I add one more quick comment?
Sure.
Just quick. Kathy Lindstrom, Guinea Road, Monroe. I would just like to support the affordable housing in Monroe. I didn't say that when I was up there before. But I do think this is something that is not only valuable, but it's necessary, and I do support it. And I would like to think that you will exercise your best judgment when somebody comes in and brings you a plan and says, we're gonna put this building here, and the parking's gonna be like this, and the driveway's gonna be like that, and we're not gonna have a whole bunch of curb cuts, screwing up all the traffic. So I think you guys, will hopefully use your best judgment, but I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we're going to close the hearing and then we will be able to discuss this amongst ourselves in deliberations, however you want. So do you have any questions or comments or anything? I believe you're not seated tonight, so this is your time.
No, this is very thorough. Thank you.
Okay. Any other input from staff before we close the hearing?
I think we hit A through Z.
All right, we will close this hearing. Moving along, we do not have any subdivision or site development plans to review. We do have deliberations. We have, sorry?
Take a 5 minutes. Went on your own before. Yeah, I didn't stop your night. I didn't stop your night.
Yeah, we do.
There we go. There we go. The
All right,
children
we'll
have to go to the
have a
bathroom.
5-minute recess.
Go, proceed without me. I'll be right back.
No, but when he comes in, he might have some of his cars.
Guys go in the bathroom.
Gotta go home for
Right now.
So we're going to restart the May 19th, 2020 Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting.
It's not doing anything.
It is now 8:55 PM. And we'll start with,
I think it's the green ones.
24 Commerce.
SCP 2022-01, file 1641A, 24 Commerce Drive. We heard them tonight. They seem to have complied with all of our requests. Is there any discussion?
Well, no, I just want to make sure that you wrote down about taking care of the neighbor with
the trees
and stuff.
Yeah.
Got that all in there?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to put that in there.
Yep, as long as that's in there, I'm good.
We do have
It's a
the
requirement.
draft, special draft.
Yeah.
Let's look, hold on. 24 Commerce.
All right, so the Chair will entertain a motion to accept the draft special exemption permit.
With the noted additional landscaping on the southerly property line.
Correct. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve SEP 2022-01, 24 Commerce Drive with the modifications of the landscaping.
I have a motion.
Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Motion to approve.
Is there any discussion?
Did you make it?
Further discussion?
No, sir.
If not, Nicole, you are seated. We'll call the roll starting on my left.
Lupo, yes?
Westland, yes.
Rainey, yes?
O'Reilly, yes.
Rosie, yes.
Okay. Motion passes. The special exemption permit as special one file 1641A is approved. Second, we have 67 Enterprise Drive. That's 2-07-S1, file number 1454A. With them tonight as well, and they stated they would comply with all the requests that we made of them. So we do have a draft before us. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the draft. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve 207-5-AI 67 Enterprise Drive.
A motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this draft?
No, sir.
No,
Not
not for me.
before the roll, starting on my right.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
We're not going to listen to the draft. Mayne, yes.
Westland, yes.
Lupo, yes.
Okay, motion passes. The SEP is approved. Final item on the agenda for deliberation is the draft affordable housing plan, which we just had read to us in detail. For you.
No.
I'll just entertain a motion to approve this draft. A motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the final draft affordable housing plan.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All right, now discussion. Are we all okay with the 7 areas on the map? Do we want to extend it up to 401 as was requested by?
Further up is that, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to show you that.
Okay, yeah, could you show me? Thank you.
What is that, you, 605?
Yeah.
605.
That's the Honey Spot Pizza?
Yeah, but where are we currently stopping? I thought it was across from Starbucks. We identified.
Why are we mapping it out anyway?
It's required.
Yeah.
Not definitely required because
No, Leon, you're absolutely right.
it's not required.
Some towns are not doing it.
Really?
It's
But
not required.
you're foolish not doing it because you're here to guide. And remember I stated, this is just a guide. It doesn't say you're endorsing it and it's going to.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying to you is, my discussion on this is that we put this new tool into place. That where we cover 25 and we cover 111.
We will.
605 is here.
Cool.
Okay, 605 is there and we stopped there.
You see, the center's here.
Yep.
Gap, 605 is here.
Which properties are in the gap?
The residential, 525, 543, Joe, 551.
The old Taylor rental?
No, that's down more.
No, it's
All residential.
That's all residential. Taylor rental, I think, is, see where that, yeah, the orange is on the side?
Yeah.
Down below across the street. That's Starbucks right there, where he's pointing.
State
Starbucks.
property.
Yeah.
Taylor Rental's right there.
Should be probably, I think that's that.
Taylor Rental's right there.
Yep.
Right where Joe, down,
Down.
bang.
So you got a small strip of residential, which will probably rezone down the road.
Okay.
Because, highest.
No, I have all that, but I'm saying to you is that why are we picking out certain pieces on the map that says for affordable housing when we have a tool in place for to cover all of Main Street, to cover all of 111, most of 111, the lower end of 111? Why are we picking different spots to put them in?
Leon, you're absolutely right. Following your train of thought, I would still recommend the 3 in the lower on 25 because they've gone through the process.
Right.
And the zoning tool that we use says it's got to be shown on the map.
Right.
So those 3 are good. And it's up to the 5 members here that are voting if you want to hold it there. The one on Elm Street, that came from the subcommittee.
No, I wasn't at the subcommittee.
That's right.
I don't even know what kind of water supply is over there. We don't know any of that. I don't know if that's public.
Yeah, but that still has to come, before us.
I understand that, but I just.
No, so if you notify him or don't notify him, it's still.
Sections of where they.
And the property owner is trying to avoid an 8-30G. He made-
I understand that, but that's a process. That's something that he would have to come in front of us for denied, then go for an 830.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's the way that is. But I'm saying to you is that if we start picking out all these pieces of parcels and we're just gonna put this, that it's just like, it looks like people are saying as of right. And it's not really as of right because, and I'm saying to you is that we have a tool in place to cover most of this.
You're absolutely right.
Right. So I don't understand why we put stuff on the map that.
Other than
have a
those
tool.
first 3, those 3 should be included because you've processed.
We already.
Right, we already processed, so.
So following Leon's logic, you're absolutely correct. You could hold the 3, go with the 3 and eliminate the other 4 locations. That's one scenario, so.
So the three you're talking about are the ones that are already in the process of being approved or have been.
Lower Main Street.
Right.
That is correct.
So do you want to just cut it at that or?
I think that's much better than what's in front of us.
Yeah.
Right, I don't want to just.
Personally, myself, I don't think you.
Chopping these up, like it's where
It doesn't,
it's gonna
because
be. I mean,
slow.
basically, no, even like Mr. Lenaker said, that, you have to take into consideration transportation
dying here.
to get there. You have to take into consideration trust.
And I want to do the soil analysis.
Right, and the soil analysis. And so there's a lot that takes into place of doing this.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're all the way down there, there's no.
All right, fine, we'll just go with the 3.
All right, so,
Okay.
you'd like to stick with the 3?
Sure,
That's fine.
doesn't matter.
Anything's gonna come before us anyways for us to.
Layton, you're right, some towns aren't even identified.
No.
Any further discussion?
No, sir. Southbury.
Further discussion?
No,
Okay.
Then we'll call it, starting on my left.
Lupo, yes.
Well,
With
yes.
the 3.
With the change that we moved to the 3 that we already identified.
Westland.
Yeah, that's 4 Main, 127 Main, and the senior housing.
I thought it was 167 Main.
Yeah. And the senior housing is
4 Main, 167 Main, and 195.
195 through 211.
Yeah.
All right, so those will be the only parcels identified. Okay.
What's your question?
Yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Okay, motion passes. Final draft is now the approved affordable housing plan. All right, so we do have 2 add-ons I'd like to put on. One is a bond release, SCP 2017-08178, Main Street, Monroe Car Wash and Detail Center. It's a
There's a bond on that?
25,000.
Very old.
Still an old bond, yes, I know.
It's been a while.
Oh, my goodness.
Is it done?
Yes, it's
Staff has inspected
I've been
it
there numerous times.
and
Okay.
Joe says it's done.
So he scratches your car.
So
Okay, that's not, no,
All right, so we need a vote to add those,
no, no,
it's,
no.
before we have discussion, a motion to
add those to,
bond.
well, no, you got to add, a motion to add those 2 on.
Motion to add these 2 items first to the agenda.
Motion to add those 2
Second
items.
is street name change, Burr Corner Development, Ken Twombly Project. Wants to change the name from Rhubarb Lane to Prestige.
Where is this?
Rhubarb. The 55 and older.
Yeah, what do they want to do?
There's 1 row going in.
Yeah.
Rhubarb.
I need a motion to add these 2 items to the agenda.
Nicole already made a motion.
Second? Second. All right, then they are added. We'll start with the bond release. Motion to release the bond for the Monroe Car Wash.
I make a motion to bond release SCP 2017-08178 Monroe Car Wash of $25,000.
All right, I have a motion. Second. Motion and a second. Call the roll, starting on my left.
Yes. Lupo, yes.
Westland, yes.
Mayini, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Okay, moving along, the street name change, Borough Corner Development, which we have seen several times. The Ken Twombly Project, changing the name of the street from Rhubarb Lane to Prestige Place.
Thank God. Oh, sorry.
A motion to accept the name change.
Motion to accept the name change.
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Oh, yes.
Mayini, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Thank you.
Wow, Leon. Hey, you okay? You feel all right?
There are no new applications.
Oh, Mike, did I put a date on there for the next subcommittee meeting? June,
June.
Oh, my gosh, June already?
June.
a week from Mondays.
So what is the other business here, Rick?
What day in June?
ZCA RAA 2020-01?
No, but go to your add-on sheet. I put the, where's the add-on sheet?
Okay, June 7th, zoning regulations subcommittee meeting.
Yeah, we got to continue with the millings, some other items.
What time is that? always forget, 5 or
5:30
5:30?
to 7.
5:30.
Does that work? It's the week after Memorial Day.
I'm not.
5:30.
Hold on.
Tuesday.
What is it, Tuesday? As of now, I'll say yes, but I'm not sure.
All right, then we'll pencil it in.
I got EMS.
5:30?
It's at 6.
That date's,
Rob can't go and
6.
Bruno's probably.
how about that Monday, the June 6th?
Yeah, you don't like, no one wanted to do Mondays anymore.
Who didn't want to do
I
it?
don't care about Monday.
I can do Monday.
June 6th.
6th?
I'm definitely in for that one.
Okay,
June 6th. What time?
5:30.
Mike O'Reilly has dinner. No? He
I
laughed.
have a bite dinner?
No. That means,
5:30 will be the next.
Leon, June 6th, 5:30.
Regulation Subcommittee meeting.
Madam Mayor.
All right, now moving along. There's another item here which I'm
Oh, my goodness.
not familiar with. Pending, it's ZCA 20.
Oh, we have Mary online.
Mary.
So this is,
127. We have some modifications they want to share with you before they submit it.
okay, go ahead. So
Yeah, you're muted, Mary.
Sarah, can you unmute?
There, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can I actually share my screen? Rick? Okay. So I'm Mary Blackburn with Solely Engineering, a registered landscape architect in the state of Connecticut. And I'm here to discuss the SDD number 1 for 127 Main Street.
Yeah.
I'll keep it brief. I know it's late.
Mary,
So,
Mary, your site plan is not showing yet.
1 second, Mary, I'm going to try to help you. Hold on.
okay.
That's not doing it. Okay, hold on, Mary. We had to turn off the computer in here because it's showing an old.
Okay, you should be able, let's share the screen again.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah, let's go back to the green.
I can just give you a summary.
Well, go ahead and start.
Oh, no, I think we have to stop, hold on. I think we have to stop sharing. Hold on. Go ahead, Mary. Can you try it one more time?
Yep.
I think we were sharing
It
ours.
still says disabled. That's all right. I can just give you a summary.
Okay, while you talk, I'll try.
Okay. So we were before the commission for the SDD at 127 Main Street, and as that was approved, there was discussion that they were walk-up buildings that elevators would be desired, and the developer actually agreed to provide elevators in all the buildings. And as we were developing our plans for the special exception permit, the more detailed plans, we're looking at the building footprint, and obviously a footprint for an elevator building is slightly different than one with a staircase. The developer has a 4-story elevator footprint. So what we've done is removed 1 story from that footprint. So we're at 3 stories and we have an elevator building. The main change is that we're actually reducing the number of buildings from 8 buildings to 7 and increasing the unit count by 8 one-bedroom units with that change. So we're losing a building and gaining 8 one-bedroom units. And I have a rendered plan. I'll try to share again so you can see. There we go. Okay, so this was the approved plan with the walk-up buildings. We have the 2 in the center and the 6 surrounding. And then this is the revised plan where we have very similar layout, the 6 around the outside, and we've removed one of the buildings in the center. So the main change was previously the buildings had 24 units per building and one building had 20 units. And now each building will have 28 units. So that's a total of 8 additional units over the entire site, and those are all one-bedroom units. And this would also increase the affordable units from 19 to 20.
All right, is there, how would you feel about that?
So if I may, good evening, members of the commission, it's Kevin Soley. I just wanted to add one more component, if I may. So
sure.
Obviously the developer and our entire team is excited to accommodate the commission's request, provide the elevator buildings. But the big point I wanted to make is that in order to accommodate the changed footprint as Mary presented and accommodate the site design, the one issue is that by increasing the units in each individual building to accommodate the elevator, it would change our total unit count from 188 units to 196 units. Now again, we believe that this change is actually great for the site because it reduces impervious surface by eliminating a building footprint. We're only building, we're able to eliminate a septic system, but it would require some additional units. So we wanted to basically get the commission's some feedback if this is something you'd be comfortable in supporting this change to accommodate the elevator buildings. So then we could come back in with the revision to the SDD and the formal site plan application for the overall project.
Yeah. All right, so what do you think about?
That triggers a public hearing. You gotta have a hearing. It's a major change.
Elevators.
Public hearing again. Sarah, no, not Sarah, Mary, can you show me what it currently was approved as? Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, the buildings.
Okay, can you go back? Thank you.
Yes.
Some more green area there, more open space.
Yep, maximizes the open space in the amenity area here.
Yeah.
One bedroom.
Does it change anything with the amenities?
No.
Not substantively, no.
Whoa. Kevin, relax.
Go ahead, Mary.
Questions?
Does it change anything with the amenities?
I think you said no.
Okay.
No.
Everyone looked at once, we couldn't tell. No, I appreciate you going back and adding the elevators.
Eliminate a building. Yeah, add more units.
They are, yeah.
There's a net decrease of coverage.
So the buildings that were already there now have, how many more in each building, Mary? 8 more in each building?
2.
No, 2.
No, 8 total. 8 total over the
8
whole
total
site.
for.
Yep. We went from 24 units per building to 28, and one building has been removed. So there's only 8 additional units, one-bedroom units on the whole site.
So that shouldn't change school-age children.
Because they're all going to one bedrooms.
Right,
And the reason for this is to accommodate the elevators?
yes, yeah.
Yes.
Because,
I guess they could fit into extra with the elevator.
Right.
yeah,
Saving money.
Right across from Buffalo Bills, right? Oh, no.
correct.
Holy slide road.
If there's any major objections, if not, we will be seeing this again.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Never know.
That doesn't really, I don't have a.
Reasonable?
No, it's
I don't really.
Seems reasonable to me,
All
too.
right, sounds, yeah.
I'm good.
No, we're okay with that, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Maybe it's a break-even cost.
And Kevin.
Each one.
So 4 more units.
All right, moving along.
That's 28
Yeah.
total.
You have no minutes, no matters. We have no correspondence other than what has already been
28 times 7 is 1 million.
discussed.
All right.
There's no chairman's report. Any commissioners have anything to report?
No, sir.
Do we have a staff report?
Not at this time.
Great, then Chair will change.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, and we need a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Meeting is hereby adjourned.